You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Got a great broadcast lined up for you today, and let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. You can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. Again, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. What are we celebrating today? Back to the Future Day? Yeah, that sounds like a good one. National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day. Medical assistance recognition. Got a lot to celebrate. You know, I'm a big believer in that. I think there's always something great to celebrate, so bring it on. That's the subject today. Just bring on the celebrations. Watching the markets for you this morning. Where are they going? What are they doing? Not a whole lot of excitement. I got 70 points up on the Dow. Not a whole lot of change. Down 4 basis points, 0.04% on the 10-year Treasury. What's that mean for you? Well, big issue right there. Dow with the 10-year Treasury down, and we're right now, the latter part of October. Think about this. Have you thought about where you're heading with your mortgage? Where are you heading with your finances? Are you looking at those things in a strategic method as we go into the last part of the year? Strategic, that's the concept that I want to bring up to you today. It's all about strategy, planning, preparation. So let's think about this a little bit, just a little bit. We are at the last part of October. Mortgage interest is always paid in arrears. You pay rent in advance, you pay interest in arrears. So think about that. What does that mean to you? If you get started on a new home loan right now, refinancing, restructuring, doing something to save yourself some money, it could be that debt consolidation loan, that's fine. If you're doing some home remodeling, if that's on your agenda, that's fine. But think about these issues from a planning standpoint, from a finance standpoint, from a cash reserves standpoint. Okay, think about that area, that arena right now. If you get started on a home loan right now, you don't have a payment until next year. On your new loan, your first payment won't happen until 2016 because of the way mortgage interest is paid. So with that being said, you can save some money. You can help your cash flow. You've got the holiday season, which is a benefit there as well, and not have a payment in December on your home loan. Wouldn't that be nice for the holidays? Wouldn't it be nice not to have to deal with a mortgage payment during the holidays? And right now, because I just shared this with you, the 10-year Treasury is at 2.02 as I speak. Obviously, it changes all day long, every day. So I'm not going to say that it's going to be there when you're listening. For those of you that are on with us right now, watching RonSiegelRadio.tv, or if you're on our flagship station, AM 1700 ESPN, then the 10-year Treasury, yes, it is at 2.02. Interest rates are extremely low For most people that I'm looking at, they're in the mid 3s to low 4s. Again, you have to qualify for that. I don't know that everybody qualifies. I don't know who qualifies. I do know that if you give us a call at 800-306-1990, we can certainly find out if you qualify. Now, here's the other part of that. If you are a veteran and you've got that veteran eligibility, if you're looking at restructuring your home loan, they have the interest rate reduction loan, the acronym IRRL. In most instances, again, no credit checks. I shouldn't say in some instances, they're not going to check credit. In some instances, they're not going to do an appraisal or a certificate of value. They're going to look at you. They're going to look at your history. Have you been making your payments for the last 12 months? And can we lower that interest rate for you? It's a low documentation product, so you don't have to do a whole lot of work on it to get that done. It's just a matter of saying, hey, you know something, you've been making your payments. The property is what the property is. It's already being covered under the VA because the VA interest rate reduction loan, the IRRL, is only for those people who already have an interest rate or a VA loan. So if that's the case, they don't need to do all the extra paperwork on it to double check it. And it's a low paperwork loan, very similar to the FHA Streamline Loan. So think about that one as well. The FHA Streamline Loan is a product that allows you to go and just basically get your rate reduced. Not a lot of paperwork. It's a lot easier than most other loans. And you're going to get a reduction in your payment. And then on top of that, you're going to get to save some money on your cash flow for the holiday time. Yeah, you're going to pay some of that. You're going to have prepaid interest. You don't get away from paying the interest. You just don't have to make a traditional payment. Saves you a little bit of cash flow. You can also have, obviously, your taxes are going to be taken care of through the new product as well, property taxes. And some of your expenses, depending upon your situation, may be tax deductible. Again, talk to your area trusted professional to find out how the effect of a new loan will be on your taxes. So you might have a little bit of a tax advantage there as well. Just thoughts. It's all about planning. That's why I bring that up to you. Looking at right now, as of Monday, I didn't look at it this morning, the APOR, the annual percentage rate, highly qualified buyers, 3.87% right now. The APOR, 3.87. Are you taking advantage of it? What will that mean for your family? How do you build that into what you're doing to your household needs? Household board of directors, talk to all of them. Moving right along. What else can we celebrate today, chat about today? Found a interesting article. We've been talking about this regularly, about our beautiful state of confusion. And the fact that, yes, we do have a very, very liberal state, but in a different way than what the president proposes. I tongue-in-cheek mentioned last year the president's idea of vote early, vote often. Well, here's the issue that I want to share with you on that concept is vote early, vote often. There are Californians now that are voting in a whole new way. They're voting with their feet. 5 million Californians have left the state of California over the last decade. 5 million have left the state. Think about that concept. 3.9 million came here from other states during that period. So a net population loss of 1 million people. Why is they doing that? Well, here's the other part of that. Here's where that affects you and I, and here's the issue. $26 billion in annual income has left the state. So that 1 million net loss of people accounted for $26 billion of annual income. Every time we vote for a state income tax, who's that hitting? The government wants you to believe that that's affecting only the rich. Well, no, it's not affecting the rich because they're leaving. They can go wherever they want to. They can vote with their feet. So when they start seeing that their vote does not count, they start saying, well, we're going to go where our vote does count, and they're leaving the state of California. Where are they going? They're going to Texas. That's one of the biggies. 600,000 Californian residents left for Texas, while we brought in 350,000. 250,000 people right there, net, going to Texas, leaving California, taking their income with them, taking their spending power with them, to leave us voting for people that want to keep spending more money, not protecting us. They're voting with their feet, and you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Thinking about moving? What are you going to do with your wine collection? We're going to talk about that when we come back. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 01869. 9452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Set up your household board of directors. Simply text ATP to 79564. ATP to 79564. Set up that household board of directors. FHA loans. Yeah, interesting opportunities going on right now. JP Morgan Chase was one of the largest, or actually they were the largest bank in the U.S. offering FHA loans. They went from a huge market share, I believe it was 12.2%, to just 2% or 0.2%. Think about that, from 12.2% to 0.2% of the market share on FHA loans just because of some government regulations in there. Not that they don't want to do the loan, it's they're not interested in taking on that government regulation. Commentary there is, what are you going to do if that's what you need is an FHA loan? Same thing I've told you right in the past many, many times. Never, ever go to the big bank on the corner for a loan, for a home loan. You need to be going to a mortgage banker. That way, if Chase gets out of the business, it doesn't matter to you because the mortgage banker knows who is in that business, who does want that business, and what you can do to maintain that project for your family. Again, looking even at the FHA Streamline that we were talking about a little earlier today, it's still available. It's still out there. You just need to understand where to get it, how to get it. Give us a call, 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch. That is the Mortgage Minute today, again, brought to you by the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Red wine means it is time for our Wednesday chat with Robert Mott. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Ron. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. I love this topic. It's very, very timely that we see in the notes this morning about moving wine. I just saw the story. We just reported on the idea that we've got millions of Americans or millions of Californians leaving the state of confusion, going to other states. And with that net 1 million lost people, $26 billion in annual income left the state. My assumption, and you know what happens when you make assumptions, is
absolutely
when you have $26 billion leaving, some of those people might enjoy a good bottle of wine. They might even have a good wine collection.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you move that collection safely?
Yeah, and that's one of the real rubs. If you've ever actually tried to do this, and I have, and I've done it poorly in the past. That's one of the reasons I thought I would try to report on this a little bit. Most of the time, your typical moving companies that move all your household goods, they don't want to have anything to do with your wine collection. They may, if you have a big cellar, a standalone cellar, they'd be happy to move that for you like a piece of furniture. But the contents themselves, they really shy away from that. And probably for good reason, and you really don't want them moving it anyway. Now, what professional wine shipping really is kind of a niche business, and it's really something you should examine if you want to relocate your cellar. What they do is they have specialized packing material, refrigerated trucks, and especially personnel that are actually adept at handling wine. So if you actually get the right people together that actually are this is their one business to do, your wine should arrive in really good condition.
Well, one of the things you went through quickly there, Robert.
I'm sorry?
One of the items you went through really quickly there, and it's something that, I used to have a transportation company, is it gets really, really hot in the back of a truck.
Absolutely.
Or it might even freeze.
If you're going across country.
Right. So how do you deal with that? I mean, as you were talking about, you went quickly over the idea. You need to have a climate-controlled truck to either refrigerate or protect from freezing as well, both.
Both, yeah. And actually, that's what they do. They have the climate-controlled trucks. And typically, heat's a bigger enemy than cold. But as we know, as we've talked about before on this very show, wild swings in temperature are really bad for your wine. So you want to keep them very consistent in terms of temperature. And the trucks that these guys have are really that kind of thing. That's what they do. The only thing I have to say, though, as you might guess, with something like this, it's specialized. It's anytime you say it's a niche business, there's demand and there's not a lot of supply of people that do this. As a result, their prices tend to be a little expensive. So typically, if you were looking at a 1,500 to 3,000 or 3,500 bottle wine cellar that you wanted to ship by refrigerated truck from New York to Los Angeles, it takes about a week. It might run you $3,000 to $5,000 for something like that. So it's relatively expensive, but think about if you had that many bottles and think about the investment you probably have at that point. You may have several $100,000 of wine. So $3,000 to $5,000 to move that collection might be a small price to pay to make sure that it actually gets there in one piece, and more importantly, in condition that you want to have that wine for future consumption.
Figure a $1,500 bottle collection. If you've got a $75 average cost, it's about $112,000 in your cost of wine.
Exactly, and it adds up in a hurry. And those of us who've collected wine, and by and large we've collected somewhat obsessively. I think people would probably want to have our heads examined, or people would expect that we'd have our heads examined for sometimes how we collect wine. But you think about that kind of investment that you have in that asset. I mean, it's a relatively small price to pay to make sure that it gets there in a good condition. Now, air freight, if you want to take the quick route, would be very expensive. And you have to think about that in terms of both the volume and the weight of what you're trying to ship. It might cost you $20,000 for 50 cases to ship it. So that's why these guys that run the truck services about moving wine are really a good option. Now, as I said, I've made mistakes before trying to move wine across country, and mainly because I did it kind of a do-it-myself approach, which I wouldn't recommend. It's like, you have to remember every case of wine weighs between 35 and 38 pounds. If you try to ship it UPS or FedEx, they're only supposed to, and I say supposed to, sometimes if you know the local shipper, they'll do it regardless of what the law says. But they're only supposed to accept packages with alcohol and then containing wine from licensed shippers only. And those are typically people like have wine shops or something like that. They're in the business of shipping wines. They have agreements with UPS and FedEx to make sure that the packages are labeled correctly and that adult signatures required and all that kind of thing. So that's something to don't think that you can just box it all up and send it FedEx or something like that. That may work, but odds are it will not. The other thing to think about, and again back to the value you have invested in this, is check with your insurance policy, your homeowner's policy, about whether or not your wine collection is covered. Don't get caught with your pants down on this one, really. Last time I moved, I checked with mine, and it was covered, but they wanted to have an inventory, an evaluation of it, so that they had on record. So be sure you have that conversation with your insurance company. Also, be sure you're present when your wine is packed and picked up. Make sure it all gets in the truck, that not a case falls off and ends up on somebody else's house. Not that anybody would do that, but just to make sure. And lastly, all state laws are kind of up and down on shipment of alcohol across their borders. Most of the time, it's kind of a don't ask, don't tell kind of arrangement, and most of them do make allowances when you're moving your private collection across with household goods. In other words, if you're relocating your household, most of them don't give you too much of a hard time. But there are some oddball rules out there and laws with each state, as we've talked about sometimes in the past, that hang over from Prohibition has been a little bit, it makes things very inconsistent, state to state.
That's some great advice there also, man, because you watched and we've seen some of the athletes that have gotten in trouble because, especially when you talk about guns, because they have a license in one state, but that doesn't allow them to do what they thought they could do in another state. I'm glad you brought that up, that, hey, check with the ordinances and do some little homework again ahead of time before you try moving a collection. I hate to see somebody get in trouble because of ignorance. So I'm glad you brought that part up. And the other issue that I see here that you went through kind of quickly also is, You know, the average case of wine holds 12 bottles, but make sure you get the cases that have the grates in them so that your wine's not clanging and breaking while you're driving.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to tell a story of myself. I moved some wine from Northern California to Southern California. I did it myself. This was years back. And I had a great big Suburban, and I just basically folded all the seats down and filled up the back with wine. And luckily, it was one of those Suburbans that had the big suspension on it, so it was like a 3/4 ton Suburban underneath the whole thing. And even that thing, when I had 2 levels of wine in it all the way to the back, it was it was straining a little bit. There was a lot of weight there. You have to kind of add that up. So before you fill your trunk with wine, again, you have to worry about that temperature fluctuation and all the heat that happens there as well. But don't make the same mistakes I've made in the past.
Absolutely. We've seen some, we've actually experienced some of that on a much smaller scale. Even when you go visit wine country and you fill up your car coming home, I mean, you can actually feel that difference. Great information. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio. Every Wednesday, we chat with Robert Mott, get some great more wine information and education. And we like to discuss your real estate, current events, and financial markets as well. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's why my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We do have that breaking news. I don't like you to have to go anywhere else to find out what's going on in the world when we are broadcasting. What's it going to mean to the markets? Vice President Biden says he will not be running for president, That window has closed, according to the vice president. Very interesting news. Is it having an effect on the market? The stock market's up a little bit on that news. I haven't seen a whole lot of effect on our bond market. That's down a little bit, down 5 basis points right now as that news is breaking. Very interesting information coming out there, so we'll see how that plays out in the marketplace. What do we have on deck today in the Word on Wealth segment today? Word on Wealth is being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. They're all wrong. We haven't mentioned that in a while, but Credit Sanitizer, they'll take care of it for you. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to help educate you. They want you to understand. We know that your credit report is wrong, and generally the errors that are on the credit report cause your score to drop. Well, understanding that your score is dropped because of errors, why don't you just correct the errors? Well, they've got that dumb little button on there that gives you 140 characters to answer what the errors are. I'm going to suggest to you ignore that button. There are better ways, more efficient ways. The reason they put that button there is for their benefit, not yours. You want your report to be accurate. Generally, with the accuracy, I think that you're going to see your credit scores improve. Again, it's all about the accuracy. Let's think about the question, though, within our Word on Wealth segment today. Family wealth. Family wealth grows as home equity builds. That is the issue. So let's think about that concept there of family wealth growing, home equity. Saw a recent report that we're basically not saving enough money, that those over 60 years of age on average have about $50,000 in savings. Those 50 to 60 have about $200,000 in savings. Well, a recent study by the Joint Center of Housing Studies, Harvard University, revealed that home equity grew nicely last year and has grown dramatically over the last 5 years. Taking inflation into account, aggregate home equity increased 8% in 2014 and 60% since 2010. 60% since 2010. If we look at the home price expectation survey, $250,000 house, and I know your house isn't worth $250,000, but you can multiply to get the value of your house, unless there are a few of them that are right on that spot. But you can do the multiplication, figure it out. Home price expectation survey, we just used $250,000. It's an easy number. $34,115 a year appreciation projected over the next 4 years. $34,000 projected. So how do you build that wealth? The answer to the question is very simple. Get in the game. Now, one of the things, my pet peeve, is listening to some of these guys on radio over the weekend talking about how horrible mortgage insurance is and what a scam mortgage insurance is. And I want to just reach into the radio and smack them in the head, because they're just stupid comments. I don't know why they make those dumb comments, but they make those dumb comments. And you need to understand the whole story here. You need to understand that getting in the game, whether you're using mortgage insurance or having enough money for your down payment, whatever it is, get in the game, because I don't know of any mortgage insurance company, can't think of any, that's going to charge you $34,000 a year in expected appreciation. I can't guarantee that's what your appreciation will be. Can't guarantee that. We just look historically, we look at what some of the experts are saying. Home price expectation survey, they talked about 100 economists, industry experts to come up with what their numbers are. And at $34,000 a year average appreciation on $250,000 house. Why not get in the game? Why would you say, I don't want to pay mortgage insurance? Well, here's the truth of the matter. If you don't have to, I'm not going to say you should pay mortgage insurance. But if it makes sense and you look at your family's numbers, who cares? Who cares? It's not the issue is not I'm not a big fan. I'll share this with you. You need to watch expenses, but more than watching expenses, look at what the return on your investment is. So here's this scenario. I just went through this with a listener in the last week. And the commentary was, I was told I have to wait for a down payment of 20% or more before I can buy a house. And I said, are you aware that the average down payment, 7.41%? Average, 7.41%. So that means that there's going to be, in most instances, some sort of mortgage insurance or some method of dealing with that 20% equity requirement for a conventional loan. There are several methods of dealing with that. Mortgage insurance is one of them. But let's think about this for these bozos that say that mortgage insurance is a scam. Just recently, shared with a listener that they could get mortgage insurance for about 0.5% a year, 0.5% per year. Okay, so let's do a little bit of calculations there. That I think for their situation came out to right around $100, $110 a month, $1,200, $1,300 a year. Trade, how many times do you want to trade $1,300 for $34,000? And I understand that's not the exact return, but that if they didn't do the mortgage insurance, they wouldn't be able to get in the game. If they don't get in the game, they don't have a potential income or appreciation of their property of $34,000 a year. That's not taxed. Now, when we look at the median household income in America being around $50,000, $55,000 a year, this is taking another household almost and bringing it into your family. That's how you develop wealth. So now here, let's go back to that scenario that I was chatting with this person, this listener with just last week. They said, but Ron, I only want to be in the house in this particular house, somewhere between 2 to 4 years, 5 years maybe. And then I want to rent this property and I want to buy another one. So maybe what I'll do is I'll put more money toward my equity on this property. And I said, wait, remember our theme of the day is planning? The theme of the day is planning. So I said, we're talking about this and you're wanting to get a bigger house down the road. Why put more money into this property? Leave it the way it is and let it appreciate. And in this instance, the mortgage insurance, because it's not FHA insurance, not FHA on this particular scenario, it's going to fall off when you have 22% equity in the property. And that's a whole different conversation we would have at a different time. But let's continue making your payments the way they are. And let's take that extra money that you're talking about and save that money in a separate account. I don't want you putting it in to your general account because then it's too easy to spend it. But let's save that money. And when you're ready to buy another house, when you've got some money saved up, yes, we'll buy another property. And maybe you'll have 20% down for that property. Maybe you won't. Who cares? Because again, we're looking at the plan. The plan says we want to have a bigger house because for our family, we need a bigger house somewhere in the next 5 years. So save the money, get with one of the area trusted professionals with a wealth planner, a wealth advisor. You can also use your household board of directors because you're going to deal with your mortgage person, your real estate person, understanding how much money you're going to need to get the house that you want. Obviously, we're using projections, and maybe you're going to do 10% down. I don't care what the number is because even then you might be dealing with mortgage insurance. Again, I don't care. You've got appreciation in the property you're departing, and you're going to be able to rent that one out. 5 years from now, everybody tells us rents are going up. So I don't really care again about the mortgage insurance on 2 pieces of property. At some point in time when you're not buying more property, then you do a refinance, a restructure if the mortgage insurance hasn't already fallen off, and if it makes sense, because there is no one size fits all, even though these bozos on the weekend are telling you that, oh, mortgage insurance is just a scam. That's hogwash. They're trying to sell you something. They're not trying to educate you, which is our mission on Ron Siegel Radio. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, financial markets. When we come back, cover all your bases before buying a home. It's baseball playoffs. And you can reach me anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150, or visit preferredcare.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com, that's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals from Ron Siegel Radio. You want to know the true value of your home? Text RSR CMA to 79564. RSR CMA to 79564. Get the true value of your home. So if you're thinking about buying a home, there are some steps that I would highly recommend you consider before you start the home buying process. First off, get that board of directors, your household board of directors, and get them in place. Start chatting with them, doing some consultations with them. When you do those consultations with them, some of the conversations you want to have is you're going to talk about a budget. Now, we're in Southern California. You can't use the national numbers. I was listening to a finance show just, I think yesterday, the day before, one of the business channels. And they're talking about take your gross income and monthly income and multiply that times 0.28, and that's going to tell you how much you should budget for your housing, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, homeowners association, or rent. And I thought, well, that's well and good, but that person is not in Southern California, and one size does not fit all. That's why, if you listen to when I share with you, area trusted professional, because the professional that's helping somebody in Apple Valley is probably not going to be the same professional that's going to be helping somebody in La Jolla. Doesn't work that way. Know your budget. Don't worry about what you can the numbers say. I just had recently, again, chatting with people all the time. You know, I give my phone number out so you can call me so we can chat so I understand where you're coming from. So we looked at this person's budget and they actually qualified for a $500,000 house. But that didn't make them comfortable. They felt that, they didn't need that. So they went and they bought a house for $320,000, easily qualified. Like I said, they're very, very well qualified at $500,000. They didn't want that. Know your budget. You don't want to live for your house. You want to live your life. Now, planning is the other issue. I get a lot of folks that say, well, Ron, I'll call you in April because I want to think about buying a house in the springtime. And it's like, no, that's not the way to do it. Let's talk now. I want to know what your credit scores look like now. I can't help you in April if they're not taken care of now. I want to know what your savings looks like. I want to know what maybe there's student loans that we need to consolidate and get a better program for you. See, student loans are one of the biggest items that I see that cost people the ability of buying a house. Is because they've got too much in student loan debt and they haven't consolidated it and they haven't looked for solutions for minimizing it. We want to do that. You can't do that at the last second. How much of a down payment do you want? How much of a down payment do you need? I told you 7.4% was the national number recently for a down payment. 7.4 had nothing to do with a 20% down payment. You don't need 20%. You can get away with significantly less, but plan for it. FHA loans, if you can find somebody doing them, I can put you in touch with the right people. They're 3.5% down. There are other loans that are 3% down. You can do a 10% down. What if you do a 10% down on a combo? Think about that. Right now, rates, they're low. I'm sharing with people right now, I think I told you earlier today in the broadcast, 3.87%. 3.87% is the APOR rate. Think about that. Will you qualify for 3.87? I don't know. You got to talk about it. You got to check into it. But I can tell you this, not my prediction, but Fannie Mae. Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, all talking about interest rates going up. So 3.87 is not going to stay around forever. Renting a house, is it cheaper? No, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. Why do you want to pay somebody else's mortgage? Just as that listener we spoke about earlier shared, they're looking at buying a starter home. It's a 2-bedroom home. Is a 2-bedroom home the best home to buy? No. But it's a lot better than renting. 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, those are 70%. 3-bedroom, 2-bath or more, that's 70% of the marketplace. But it doesn't mean that there's not going to be that 2-bedroom need or a 1-bedroom need. Not as easy, but it's there. You're going to have to budget for repairs. That's the area that you don't know when you're buying a house. You're going to pay for repairs whether you rent or whether you buy. People don't want you to understand that. Oh, no, my landlord pays for it. Hogwash. Your landlord raises the rent. It's a pass-through for everybody. And again, I talked to you earlier that the projections of the value, the developing wealth, buy that starter home today and then plan. That word keeps coming up today over and over again. Plan on where you're going to live 5 years from now and how you're going to buy that property without selling the home that you're in. Keep the one that you're in as a rental, and then that becomes the tool for your retirement. Think about it. It's not that difficult, but it's all about planning. Household formations. I see this in the news all the time that we talk about household formations. They're continuing to grow. People are starting to move out of mom and dad's house. Why? Because they're planning, they're getting in the game, they're understanding that they don't have to be a lifelong renter. There are other options for them. It's not that difficult, folks. Again, you have to get a hold of the area trusted professionals. And if you're already a homeowner, have you done a mortgage checkup? That's one of the big differences that I see right now. We still get a lot of people that are going to these online services. And I laugh. And I know that they're good people at these online services, but here's the part of it that just makes me chuckle. And I see another one of these companies going to an online platform and saying, well, the advertising they're using is that, are you tired of having to provide documentation? Well, do it online. Wasn't that providing documentation? And have you ever tried talking to your computer? For the most part, unless you like Siri, they don't talk back. They don't give you good consultations. They don't give you good guidance. They don't give you good information. How are you doing the planning? How are you going to develop a plan to retire? When do you want to retire? What's the structure? What's it mean? Do you have to work forever? That's why you have that household board of directors. That's why they're going to help you out. They're going to be get together with the financial planner to start with and say, okay, for me to meet my goals, and my goals are 20 years out, think about this one. The person that I just shared with you that has a plan to buy, that's buying a house right now with mortgage insurance, planning to buy another house in 5 years. Think about that. Well, if they have a house in 5 years that they're moving out of, we're looking at about a 20-year wait. 20 years until they're ready to retire, 30 years in that case where they're ready to retire. They could possibly, if they follow a plan, have that house paid off free and clear, the first house paid off free and clear. Not my recommended guidance. But then they're going to be getting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month in income from that property. Is that a retirement plan? Is that a way to develop wealth? Is that a way to meet your goals? Just a thought for you right there. That is, and if you want to know what your house is worth today, again, Real-Time Real Estate, area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will get you that number. Text RSRCMA to 79564. And of course, set that radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. If you missed any part of the broadcast, Ron Siegel Radio archives, or you can go on YouTube and watch us right there. The live stream broadcast go there. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.